of China and President of Rotary Club of Beijing Dynasty, China. May I now invite Professor Dilip Charan to felicitate the chair of this session, Professor Shri Prakash ji. May I now invite Professor Mathur to kindly felicitate Swami Mitranand ji. We also have Dr. Mahesh Patel from Gujarat University to kindly felicitate Lama Yonten Lodoi Gelong. Can we have a round of applause, please? May I now invite Dr. Cheeman Patel to felicitate Professor Arvind Sharma. I would now like to invite Mr. Kom Carpentier to kindly felicitate Venerable Hak Sengai. And may I now invite Dr. Kanti Ben to felicitate Dr. Tsui Yang Ting Jennifer. I'll request Professor Mahesh Patel ji to kindly felicitate Miss Astrid, who will be translating for Miss Jennifer. So without taking much of your time, I now request the chair of the session, Professor Singh, to kindly take over the further proceedings. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, India Foundation, making me part of this wonderful event. And it's my seventh time that I am part of it as team organization. Thank you so much, University of Gujarat. Friends, we have 5 panelists and a time of around 1 hour 50 minutes. So I'll request all my panelists to take around 18 to 20 minutes maximum. And by 1, in any case, we have to finish this session. Though I have prepared a note for myself, but at last if I'll get few minutes for myself, then I'll go to it. One request to all my panelists is to be with the topic, to be with the theme. And if we do justice with theme, then it goes to the community, academia, and it contributes like anything. With these words, I request Swami Mitrananji Maharaj to have the dais, please.
Checking. My salutations to the chair and to all the panelists, everyone present here. Pranam, good morning. I congratulate India Foundation and the visionary leadership of Ram Madhav and Gujarat University for taking up this initiative, which is very, very important, essential, because the followers of Dharma, the Hindu diaspora across the world, is 1.2 billion. And the followers of Dhamma is 520 million. So if we are together, Dhamma and Dharma, which is just one and the same, is almost 2 billion. One of every fifth member would be a practitioner of Dharma, or you can call it Dhamma. So this kind of initiative of these two populations of the world coming together is very important. I congratulate this initiative, and we are on the 8th year of this. So some of the Vedic mantras are downloads to the rishis. They were not born out of human intellect. Some, of course, would be from the human intellect, but certainly some are downloads from the cosmic divine. What do you mean by downloads? When the individual was quiet, still, mind did not have thoughts. When there were no thoughts, a state of mind where there were no thoughts, these mantras revealed. So obviously many of the rishis never claimed the ownership of it. They said, when we were not there, in our absence, in the seat of meditation, when you are quiet, there are no thoughts. It is at that time these mantras were revealed, and therefore they never claimed authorship of it. So what are these downloads? They came from cosmic. And very important, because the rishi was quiet and it revealed. For example, the Navagrahas of Hindu Dharma, if you see, the person was quiet and he would know the planets revolving around and the color of the planet. If you go to Navagraha today, you see Mangal, Mars, will be with a red cloth, and we all know Mars is a fiery planet. You go to Jupiter and see in a Navagraha, Jupiter will be with yellow color, clothed in yellow, and that planet looks yellow. And yellow is the color of knowledge too. People who are seeking knowledge wear it, and we call it Jupiter Brihaspati, Guru. So if you see that way, the guys were sitting quiet in their seat of meditation and these things downloaded. So there were a lot of cosmology downloads happened to Hindu rishis. Across the Vedas you can find it. And even the rishis who came much later, when they were quiet, they could understand. For example, Brahmagupta, he was sitting quietly and he realized in the stillness of his mind the diameter of the earth. Or Yajnavalkya, the Vedic rishi, in his quietude, he realized the distance between the earth and the sun are 108 diameters of the sun. It's the distance of the earth and the sun. 108 diameters of the moon is the distance between the earth and the moon. Now, obviously, Yajnavalkya did not go there, nor did he have an apparatus to measure. These are downloads. So there have been various kinds of downloads which we are in awe and wonder as the technology improves. We come to know about it saying, oh, somebody in a quiet mind discovered it a few thousand years ago. Every child in our country sings Guru Stotram. If you are associated with any spiritual organization, Guru Stotram would be definitely one of the primary texts a child learns. And the first mantra itself says, Akhanda Mandala Karam, Vyaptam Mena Characharam, Tatpadam Darshitam Mena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Akhanda Mandala Karam. Akhanda means unending. The word Akhanda means it has no end. Unending mandala, Akhanda mandala. Mandala galaxies. Unending galaxies is pervaded by one truth. Akhanda mandala karam vyaptam is pervaded, whether it is moving or non-moving, in this entire galaxies, unending galaxies. Not just the Milky Way. Milky Way is one of the galaxies. Our neighboring galaxy is Andromeda. That way, if you look at galaxies, they have no end. These unending galaxies, whether it is moving or non-moving, is pervaded by one truth. So the Dharma says very clearly, the Creator is divine, the created is divine. We need to understand this, very important. The created is as divine as the Creator. The cause and the effect are the same. From divine, if anything comes out, it has to be divine. From God, what comes out has to be God. From gold, if anything comes out, it has to be gold. From gold, copper cannot come out. So the cause only has manifested as this effect. So that is where we recognize Akhanda Mandala. Unending are the galaxies, all that is pervaded by one truth. So the Creator and the created are divine. This revelation is very important, and this is the experience also. When a rishi realizes the truth, or any seeker realizes the truth, he understands that the entire world is one creation and it is all pervaded by one truth. That alone appears as the world. The truth alone, one truth alone appears as this world. And so what do we do with this world? There is a very beautiful, there are few beautiful slokas indicating this in the Gita. Let's look at what is cosmology, like how Gita looks at it, certain verses. There is a verse where in chapter 9, Krishna says, Maya Dekshena, in my presiding principle, Suyate Characharam, everything in this world is moving in my presence. The truth says, in my presence, I am present everywhere, and everything is revolving in the presence of that divine. This is very important. Whether just not humans, the entire universe. And also, Arjuna calls Krishna, and this is also a very beautiful way. In chapter 11, he says, you are Shashwata Dharma Gopta. In one of his prayers, what he says is, hey Krishna, I recognize you not as someone born to Devaki and Vasudev. I'm not somebody who has come from Vrindavan. I am recognizing you as Avyayam Shashwata Dharma Gopta. You are the protector, upholder of Dharma. That force which upholds this balance is Dharma. If in cosmology, Dharma is not there, it will be chaos. As long as it is Dharma is present, it is cosmos. If Dharma is absent, it is chaos. Whenever this Dharma gets imbalanced, let us say Adharma takes over and this imbalance has happened in the universe, then Avatar has to manifest. Avatar manifests only to set back the balance. This balance across the world is absolutely important. Across the universe is very important. Whenever this gets imbalanced, Dharma gets imbalanced, then the divine has to manifest to set it back to balance. In 3rd chapter, there is a verse where Krishna tells Arjuna, at the time of creation, this creation which is created is made along with yajna. Yajna means people coming together, working together. Yajna means in the past, let us say a rishi was traveling by, a saint was going by a village, and he found the villagers probably not living together, not united, going each way. Then he says, let's do something, a community prayer. Every member of the society comes forward to contribute something. Someone comes with a twig, someone cleans the place, someone creates the havan, someone brings prasad. Every member of the community comes together. So yajna is an action of the community coming together. So in chapter 3, Krishna says, Saha yajna praja srishtva purovacha prajapatihi anena prasavishyadvam eshavos tvishta kamaduk. It's a lovely verse. Look at the cosmology here. Saha yajna, along with the spirit of yajna, togetherness, along with the spirit of togetherness, this creation is made. Saha yajna praja srishtva purovacha prajapati. The Creator himself has said, when this creation was made, it was made along with the spirit of togetherness. In the spirit of togetherness, which is dharma, in the spirit of togetherness, whatever you want, you achieve. Let the spirit of togetherness be your wish-fulfilling source. Ishtakamadik. Sahayagnya praja srishtva purovacha prajapatihi. The Creator said, let this be your source of desires being fulfilled, harmony, etc. Means you and I, when we come together, when we function in this world in the spirit of togetherness and share what we work together equally, then we live in harmony. The trees give more than what they take. The birds give. Everything gives more. Whenever human selfishness dominates, the imbalance starts. When the human becomes selfish, the damage happens. That's why Krishna said, together let us progress. Don't have to be selfish. In really speaking, you know what is the distance between us and God? The distance between us and the divine? The divine is within. That's a very bookish interpretation. All of us know. I'm talking experientially. Not from the bookish knowledge. Experientially, how far is the divine from us? How selfish we are, that far is the divine. Swartha is the distance. How far is God? How swartha I am, how selfish I am. The distance is measured that way. If a human becomes extremely selfish, the imbalance happens. It was not, now that Sahayagnya rule is not practiced, chaos happens. So Krishna has made it very clear, along with the spirit of Yajna, this creation was made. As long as we understand that the Creator himself said. So one of the secrets of this creation is being together. We need to realize that we are one. The Creator and the created are divine. The divisions are not required. Whenever a division happens and we identify exclusively to that division, then the cosmos gets imbalanced. The vision is to expand our vision to go beyond all divisions. Shankara says in the Viveka Chudamani, Jati Niti Kula Gotra Durakam Nama Rupa Guna Dosha Varjitam Desha Kala Vishayadi Vartuyatu Brahma Tattvamasi Bhavayatmani. Brahma Tattvamasi. You are that divine, not identifying with Jati, Niti, Kula, Gotra. Keep that away. Nama, Rupa, Guna, Dosha. Keep it away. We are not part of all that. Brahma Tattvamasi, you are that divine. Live in this bhav. Live in this feeling. Maintain this attitude that you are divine. When we move away from it, and I think I am an individual, and the individual gets imbalanced, then dharma gets imbalanced. So Krishna says very clearly, this creation was made with the spirit of togetherness. Now, in our village, even before, let us say, 2014 onwards, electricity reached many remote villages in Bharat. Even before electricity could reach, much before, in a remote village in Bharat, if the priest there does a puja, he has a sankalpa. Mamo partha samasta durita kshaya dwara Sri Parameshwara Prityartham. He goes. There you see where he says, Dutiya parathe Manvantare Kaliyuge Pradhamapade Jambu Dvipe Bharata Varshe Bharata Kande Meroho Dakshina. Please understand, ordinary prayer, the priest is connecting to the cosmic Sweta Varaha Kalpe Kaliyuge Jambu Dvipe Bharata Kande. In that continent, I am in Bharat, which is this side of Meru. And there in this particular place, in this particular day, on this particular Tithi, I'm invoking you, O Lord. I'm taking the sankalpa. Look at the connection from cosmos to individual. A day-to-day daily prayer in Bharat. It's not the prayer which is done today. That's why I said much before electricity could go, much before connections could go, in a remotest village. This was a common knowledge that the individual is always with. And this sankalpa is something which is connected to cosmology daily. From the continent, from Brahmaji, the creator, from his time. And when the time came as Kali Yuga, and from Kali Yuga, you come down one by one to the continent, and from the continent to your country, and which side of the mountain Meru you are, and which town, which day, under which Tithi, which nakshatra of that day. You take a promise, you take a sankalpa. Our daily sankalpa is a powerful mantra which talks about the cosmology. And now, the last point which I want to say. As I told you in the beginning, Hindu, Buddhist, Dharma, Dhamma, both are one and the same. They are not different. If we understand today, we are one, we are a formidable force. Dharma is as same as Dhamma, Dhamma is as same as Dharma. Two different, slightly changed pronunciation of the same word. We are one, and this togetherness for us is very important. This Dhamma Dharma conference must bring us together. In this world, for us to exist, survive, togetherness is very, very important. That's why it was almost 2 billion people following Dharma and Dhamma together. If we are seen as one, we are a formidable force. World would listen to us. Then 1 in every 5th person of this earth would be follower of Dhamma or Dharma. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Swami Mitrananji. Observing time, dot 19 minutes. Wonderful exposition of creator and created. Both are divine. As a student of social science, when I was introduced a divine theory, when everything was associated with it, today, when I look at this theme of cosmology, that divine theory and belief that it's not everything created by this individual, everything is created by that supernatural power. Depending on our faiths, we have been giving that credit to that supernatural, but we have been calling it Paramatmana because our Atma, concerns of Atma or the soul, is different to the other belief systems. With these words, I'm now inviting our friend from Soviet Rasa, Lama Yonten Ledoy Gelong. He is chairman, Central Spiritual Administration of Buddhist Rasa. Please.
Thank you very much. Namaste, namaskar, dear organizers and participants of the conference. I would like to greet you on behalf of Buddhists of Russia. Buddhism has existed in Russia for more than 4 centuries, and therefore, along with Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, it is traditional religion of Russian Federation. But today, I will not talk about Buddhist cosmology because there are lamas at the conference who can do it better than me. Today, I would like to point out that Russia and India, in addition to their current friendly relations, have deep ancient roots. Few people know that the Vedic tradition is common to ancient Russia and ancient India. Researchers find a lot of parallels, a lot of interesting aspects in cultural and philosophy of both countries. But in Russia, much of this ancient culture has been lost and forgotten, while in India it survived. In recent years, interest to the history and our answers, the Slavs, their beliefs and culture has flared up in our country. Many publications have appeared, many scholars are trying to draw linguistic and cultural parallels with India and find out who influenced it from. Indeed, there are a lot similar aspects. Of the entire vast family of Indo-European languages, Russian and Sanskrit are the closest to each other. And there is also a surprising similarity between the pre-Christian cults of the Slavs and the religion of the ancient Aryans, Hinduism. Presentation? Please, no? Okay. Both call the books of knowledge Vedas. Vedas translates to knowledge, hence such words in Russian language as vedать. Vedать in Russian language is know, and невежество is respectively the lack of knowledge. This word has become very firmly established in our everyday life, is an integral part of such words as правоведение, правоведение, it is jurisprudence, and товароведение, it is commonly science, and so on. Seriously, even the national currencies of the 2 countries have similar names. In Russia is ruble, in India is rupees. So I will do my speech with short because for save time. Indian scientist Dr. Gandagar Tilak, in his work The Arctic Homeland in the Vedas, quotes from the ancient source Rig Vedas, stating that the constellation of the 7 great sages, Ursa Major constellation, is right above our heads. If a person is in India, then according to astronomy, the Ursa Major constellation will be visible only above the horizon. The only place where is located directly overhead is the area beyond is Arctic Circle. Does it mean that the characters of Rig Veda lives in the north? It is difficult to imagine Indian sages sitting in the middle of snow drives in the far north. But if we could race to sunken islands, and change the biosphere, then the destruction of the Rig Veda will make sense. Probably in those days, the Vedas and Vedic culture were not only the treasure of India, but its many peoples. Okay. I can click? Okay. According to some philologists, the Russian word "mir" world, which has three main meanings: universe, people, and harmony, comes from the Sanskrit name of Mount Meru, Mir Meru. It seems to be true because according to the Indian cosmology, Mount Meru on the metaphysical plane extends, penetrates to poles of the earth and is the invisible axis around which the human world revolves. Also, this mountains is not physically manifested now. So, why the Slavs bore such name? So, across analysis is of different cultural suggests the extents in the recent past of highly developing civilization in this north, which disappeared under unclear circumstances. This land has inhabited by those who praise the gods. In the Russian language, Slavich Boga. So in Russian language, to praise is Slavich in Russian. The slaves considered the god of sun. God name is Yaro, to be one their ancestors. And therefore they were Yaroslavs, to praise it to God Yaro. Another common term in connection with the ancient Slavs is Arya, Yaro Arya. The word Arya in Sanskrit means noble, one who knows the highest value of life. It's usually referred to the upper classes of Vedic society and ancient India, who his term came to Slavs, is not entirely clear, but some researchers see a connection between this word and the name of the divine progenitor of the Slavs, Yar. The book of Veles says, that it was Yar, after shedding cold spell, brought the surviving tribes of Slavs from the far north to the area on the modern Urals, from where they then went south and reached Penji, Punjab state in modern India. From there, they were later led to the territory of Eastern Europe by the Indian commander Yaruna. In the ancient Indian epic Mahabharata, this point is also mentioned, and Yaruna is named by his Indian name Arjuna. By the way, Arjuna literally means silver light, and this word echoes the Latin argentum, silver. It is possible that another interpretation of the word Ari is white man, also goes back to this root Yar, Ar. This is will finish a brief digression into historical parallels. Now we will talk about philosophical and cultural similarities. So, below I would like to show the corresponding names of the deities worshipped in Russia and India. So in Russia, Triglav, the three Vishen, Svarog, and Shiva. So you all know in Indian Trimurti, Vishnu, Brahma, and Shiva. Indra, in Russian, Dasht Bog, Indra, in Indian, Indra. Огне Bog, Agni, that's very same. Mara, Yama, it's Mara, Yama is this. Krishan in Russia, it is Krishna in India. So I have given only those names in which there is a complete of particle correspondence, but there are also many other names and functions. After such a list of deities, the idea of paganism and the ancient beliefs of Russia and India naturally arise. So our ancestors also believe that reality is divided into three levels of prav, yav, nav in Russian language. The world of prav is a world where everything is right, or an ideal higher world. The world of yav is a manifest of vision world of people. The world of nav is a negative, unmanifested lower world. So Indian Vedas also speak of the existence of three worlds: a higher worlds where goodness dominates, and middle worlds gripped by passion, and lower worlds steeped in ignorance. Such similar understanding of the world gives similar motivation in life. It is necessary to strive for the world of prav or goodness, and in order to get into this world, you need to do everything right. This is according to the law of God. From the root of the prav come such words as pravda. In Russian language, pravda is truth. So управление is administration, исправление, correction, правительство, government is root of this world is prav. This means the real governance should be based on the concept of prav, and real governance should spiritually uplift those who follow the ruler leading and subordinates along to the path of prav. The next similarity in the spiritual realm is the recognition of God's presence in the heart. Is Slavic souls, this understanding is given throughout the world. Совесть is conscience. Literally, совесть means according to the West. West is message, with the message. A message here is Veda. Living according to the message Veda emanating from God in the heart and his information field. He is совесть, conscience. When a person comes into conflict with unwritten laws emanating from God, he conflicts with God and suffers from disharmony in this heart. So I will be short, and the calculation of time has similar in both tradition, Indian and Russian tradition. Firstly, the year began as it should in spring, March and April, which corresponds to the passage of the sun through the first sign of the zodiac Aries, and marks the awakening of nature after winter. Even the modern names of some months reflect the previous order. For example, September comes from Sanskrit sapta, 7. That is, September used to be considered of 7th month. October, 8. November, Sanskrit Nava, 9. December, Sanskrit Dasa, 10. Indeed, a decade is 10. Then December is 10 months, not 12. Secondly, both in India and Russia, there were 6 seasons of 2 months, not 4 of 3. This has also our own logic. After all, Elroad, March, and May are considered spring. They are very different, and a more detailed breakdown if the year into 6 seasons more accurately reflects reality. And here are examples of lecture similarity between Sanskrit and Russia. Bhoga is Bog, Matri, mother, same in Russian language. Pati, Batya, father, Brati, brat, Jiva, alive, живой, Двара, дверь, Suha, сухой, Hima, zima, Vasanta, Vesna. So very more word is in Russian and Sanskrit language is same. The abundance of geographical names, toponyms of Sanskrit origin is the territory of Russia is also interesting. For example, there are the Ganges and Padma rivers in the Arkhangelsk region, Moksha and Kama in Mordovia, the tributaries of the Kama, the Krishneva and the Hareva. Indra is a lake in the Yekaterinburg region, Soma is a river near Vyatka, Maya is a city near Yakutsk, and other. So historical, cultural, and linguistic ties between Russia and India are obvious, but a typical mistake is to search who influenced whom. It is easier to understand the connection between the two cultures through the adoption of a single spiritual proto-cultural from which both civilizations drew knowledge. Despite the intermediate clarity of history due to cataclysm and migration, the original source of man and civilization is spiritual reality. That is why we instinctively strive upward at our origins. The Vedas speak of the existence of a higher ideal world which is projected onto material nature, like a moon reflected in a river, but his ideal image is destroyed by ripples and waves of the passage of time. Since the beginning of creation, there has been a single civilization with a single cultural and single language. Under the influence of the universal law in entropy, consciences began a narrow cultural began to simplify, different languages appeared, and now we hardly find only remnants of the former community. But today, hundreds of thousands of Russians are interested in Buddhism, which if we discard external differences, is very similar in its philosophy and worldview to ancient Russian beliefs. Therefore, thanks to Buddhism, the Russian and Indian peoples are becoming closer again as they were many millennia ago. To save time, I have shortened my speech, but full text will be published later by the organizers of the conference. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much. Uh, Lama Yoten Odai from Rasa. We don't have watch here, but it's a time fitted in mind. Again, the cosmic connect. All speakers have been finishing within the time. Now, I'm requesting Professor Arvind Sarmaji, big professor at in Comparative Religion, School of Religious Studies, McGill University. He has written immensely on ancient India. Being a student of political science, we have been beneficiary of your writings, your articles, your books. And we have been getting leaf from your writing and experiences, primarily in decolonization field. With this, I request Professor Arvind Sarmaji to address us.
Respected Chairperson, distinguished fellow co-panelists and friends. It is wonderful to be back in Ahmedabad at the kind invitation of the organizers of this conference, where one served as the district development officer more than 50 years ago. It makes me feel, or at least makes one feel nostalgic. The demand of the moment, however, is to be analytic. And I have 4 points to make on the question of cosmology and Hinduism and Buddhism. One must begin by recognizing the distinction between origin and cause. To take a simple example, one catches flu or the flu catches one, and then one ends up with the doctor. If the doctor tried to identify the origin of the flu, then he would try to determine whom I caught it from, whom the other person caught it from, and so on ad infinitum. But the doctor does not do that. The doctor is interested in the cause of the flu rather than its origin. The cause is a viral infection. He or she prescribes antiviral treatment, and I am cured in due course. Cosmology includes cosmogenesis, or an account of the origin of the universe in which we find ourselves. Both Hinduism and Buddhism are more interested in knowing why we are here rather than finding out when we got involved in this universe. Buddhism traces our involvement in the universe to what it calls Trishna, which literally means thirst. In order to grasp the significance of the point, one should imagine a state in which one has been thirsty for a long time, somewhat lost in a trackless desert, and not a drop of water is in sight. The longing we have for water at the time, according to Buddhism, is the kind of longing which keeps us involved in this universe. We are here because we want to be here. We are here because we long to be here. Hinduism concurs. The 129th hymn of the 10th mandala of the Rig Veda already speculates that desire might be the root of creation. The second point pertains to the question of whether the universe was created at any one point in time or has always existed in one form or another. As is well known, the Abrahamic religious tradition, consisting of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, favors the view that the universe has a beginning point and an end point, when the universe will be rolled up like a parchment in the graphic language of the Quran. The Indic religious tradition, on the other hand, which consists of Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, and Sikhism, favors the other view, that the universe has always existed in some form. They hold the view that although the universe undergoes periodic appearance and dissolution, it does not possess any beginning. That is to say, it is anadi. Not only is the universe anadi, or without a beginning, the jivas, that is you and me, are also anadi, without a beginning. And our karma is also anadi. It might be worth noting that the cosmological point regarding the jiva and karma being without a beginning may be a logical point in disguise. Can one think of a person without any attributes attached to that person? One cannot. Can one think of attributes without those attributes belonging to some person? One cannot. The fact that they logically entail each other, the fact that they logically entail each other is perhaps expressed cosmologically by saying that both are without a beginning. Third point, cosmology has been used both in Hinduism and Buddhism to promote reconciliation, or more tellingly, conflict resolution. Let us first take an example from Hinduism. There are several accounts which explain the birth of Ganesh to Shiva and Parvati. There is even an account that Ganesh was born to them when they were enjoying the pleasures of married life, having assumed an elephant form. In other accounts, he is said to have been born from the ointments Parvati used in her bath, and so on. These accounts are reconciled in Hinduism by using the argument that Ganesh was born differently in the different ages, which constitute Hindu cosmological cycles. Now the example from Buddhism. According to Buddhism, Gautam Buddha, or the Buddha of our age, was born in the Kshatriya Varna. The Buddha to be, however, to be born in the future, who will be called Maitreya, will be born in the Brahmana Varna. How is this apparent contradiction to be reconciled? Cosmology comes to our aid. Gautam Buddha, or the Buddha of our age, was born a Kshatriya because in the age in which he flourished, the Kshatriyas were supposed to be the highest Varna. And Maitreya, the Buddha of the future, will be born in the Brahmana Varna because the age in which he will be born, in that age, Brahmins will be the highest Varna. We come now to the final point. Both Hinduism and Buddhism employ cosmology to counter overwhelming vanity, both divine and human. The story is told in one of the Puranas of the king of the gods who bear the title Indra, that one of them decided to build a capital city which would exceed all others in size and splendor. He appointed his chief architect, Vishwakarma, to carry out the project. Vishwakarma, fed up with Indra's incessant demands for even more splendid town plans, approached Vishnu for relief. Vishnu assured Vishwakarma of his help. One day, Vishnu appeared as a young priest in the court of Indra, who received him respectfully and engaged him in conversation. While they were talking, the young lad looked at a pillar in the hall, at the base of which several ants seemed to be marching in formation. At this sight, he burst into peals of laughter and then resumed his conversation with Indra. Indra could not suppress his curiosity regarding the cause of the young priest's mirth. And after tantalizing Indra for a while, the priest explained that each one of these ants in a previous incarnation had been an Indra and had wanted to build a capital city which would rival all such cities ever built by any Indra. This is how Indra was cured of his vanity. We turn now to an account from Buddhism. Once Anand, the private secretary, so to say, of Gautam Buddha, started praising Gautam Buddha to the point of claiming that Gautam Buddha was the greatest Buddha that ever lived or existed. Thereupon Gautam Buddha asked him, "Have you met all the Buddhas of the past?" Anand replied in the negative. Then Gautam Buddha asked him, "Anand, have you met all the Buddhas of the future?" Anand again replied in the negative. Thereupon the Buddha said, "Then why are your words so vain and glorious?" I conclude my presentation with these remarks. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Making it so simple for us with examples from ancient Indian literature as well as the Buddhist literature. Now I am inviting Venagala Haq Singhai, Executive Director of Buddhism for Education of Cambodia. Please.
Very good morning, everyone. That's great honor for me to present you my topic. My topic today is about Dharma, how we propagate the Buddha's teaching, the Dharma, for the young generation. That is called empowering youth in the view of 21st century. If we talk about the youth in the first century, I think everyone could understand. The youth right now, the morality is declining. So the world as well, we need the Dharma. So I think my topic will be beneficial and useful for the conference, and also every one of us would be a Dharma messenger for the peaceful world. So this is my objective. to make you understand the role of Cambodian monk doing a great job for the sustainable world peace and also for the young generation. I would like to bring some information about Cambodia. Cambodia is a Buddhist country. We have among 60,000 monks. Yeah, more than 60,000 monks and monastery, 40 monasteries. And most of our population are Buddhists. There are 95% of a population. By the way, I would like to ask you in this hall, anyone of you have been to Cambodia? Could you please raise your hand? Thank you very much. And for those who are not visiting yet, could you please raise your hand as well? Wow. So thank you for not visiting. And hopefully you visit one day. And that is good information about Cambodia and India. We have just launched a new flight, direct flight from Delhi to Phnom Penh. We have Cambodia Angkor flight from Phnom Penh to New Delhi. And in November, we will have Indigo flight from New Delhi direct to Angkor Wat, Siem Reap. So you can see just a photo that Angkor Wat, the great temple, and actually concerning with Hinduism, Brahmanism as well. And if you understand Cambodia, we have great relation and history, influence of Brahmanism and Hinduism. For the great connection and for the peaceful society, I think Cambodian and India contribute to each other a lot, especially, you know, what I'm asking at the moment about how you come to Cambodia and how we come to India. For me, myself, I always take a lot of people, you know, a lot of people, Swami, from Cambodia as a pilgrimage. Every year I bring a lot of people to Bodh Gaya, to Kushinagar, to Varanasi, thousands of people. And in November, we will have a very special event that Cambodia will host. That is the International Tibetan Chanting. So a lot of Cambodian people will come as well. So that's why I would say it should be fair that Indian people also should visit our country, because a lot of temple concerning with Hinduism and also Buddhism. So this is information, and this is the Buddhist organization that I founded in 2012. Why I founded the mission is to promote social values through education and also humanity through for social welfare. The keyword that I would love to illustrate for this topic is about the empowering youth. Why it matters? And another one is the challenges for the youth in 21st century. Empowering youth. In Cambodian literature, we have one slogan that is very inspiration and encourage to every youth. That is, the youth is the pillar, you know, pillar of the nation. So they realize themselves that they will be a strong pillar for the nation. So what should they do? And for us as well, right now, we are not the young tree anymore. We are not young tree anymore. We are the old tree already, and we will fall down one day. It is inevitable eventually. So what we should do right now is to think about the futures of our society, the sustainable development and peace. That's why I think we are coming together to find out how we penetrate and how we propagate the Dharma to the young generation as well as for our peaceful society. I would love to make you understand, and also you understand as well about 21st century. There is a lot of challenges right now, especially for the youth. They are got like the pressure of materialism, and also the mental health issue, and the failure of education. Face a lot of problems, especially the first one and the second one. That is about the pressure of materialism. As we understand, we are living in the digital era, and most of the youth, they want to be like a high show and want to be proud by using very modern technologies, everything. So most of us always run after the technologies. So sometimes they could not afford all those things. What happened? This is the pressure of materialism, and also cause the problem to the mental issue as well. That's why we can see a lot of problem happen in many countries, even developed countries like Korea, Japan, China, even Cambodia, my country. A lot of youth commit suicide because of those pressure, mental issue, and also the material pressure. Maybe this is the question for all of you as well. We are living in the 21st century, and we understand that it's the century of materialism, or the century of modernization, the century of digitalization. It should be the century of spiritualism. This is our hope, or at least should be balanced between spiritualism and materialism. Otherwise, our world, our society will be not in balance, cause a lot of problem, and even now we have a lot of dispute country by country. Like recently, you have understood that the conflict between Ukraine and Russia, and in Middle East and many countries. So as Swami just mentioned, at the moment, as we all have the Dharma together, we can, promote the peace and harmony to the world by practicing Buddhism or Dharma. That is to bring peace to ourselves first, and then we can develop to the other. I would say this is some people, not some, I'm sorry, but maybe we sometimes forget we are in Asia in general, particularly in India. We have found it that very great medicine to cure the global disease. But sometimes we forget that we found it. We found that. We have researched and found that the medicine. What's that medicine? The most effective medicine to cure the world. That is the Dharma. The Dharma. It's also mentioned in the Buddhist scripture, Dhamma Osato. That is, Dharma is the medicine. Buddha is a doctor. So if we see our society and our world now got disease, I think everyone understood that we now facing a lot of problem, and within ourselves as well, we have all those diseases. So the disease that we could understand, that is the three kinds of disease that mentioned by the Buddha. He mentioned this is the unwholesome deed, that happen in our mind, that is greed, hatred, and delusion. So every dispute, every war that happen because of the greediness of the people, especially by the anger of the people and delusion. And the anger is fire, and now fire is burning somewhere already. It might be, come to us very soon if we don't have that kinds of medicine, the Dharma, to cure all those diseases and as a water to throw to to ease all those fire. This is our activity that we try to promote and propagate the teachings of the Buddha using the Dharma as a bridge to empower the youth in general in Cambodia. We have like a capacity building, personal attitude, and national concern, health care, and important thing, we always talk about the 5 precepts. That is the main core value in Buddhism, especially for the youth. Is really helpful for them. As you understood that the 5 precepts is so important. There's no killing, so that you develop compassion, no stealing, no sexual misconduct, no telling lie, no drinking alcohol. It's a very basic principle, especially for the young generation. So we always talk about that to our young generation, youth. This is my program that we run everywhere in the country. And also we have the prisoner education as well. The Buddhist monks themselves, even myself, go to prison to talk about the Dharma and how to make them happy and to live happily even in prison. And also when they finish their term in the prison, they come back to society, will lead the righteous life. We run another program that is a children sponsorship program. We give some assistance, the assistance to the children who are in need of help, especially in Cambodia now. We not very rich. Some people, family are very poor that could not afford even go to the school. So our organization, we help them with school supply, just like bicycle, clothes, and even the allowance for many, many children. Oh, why not working? Oh, yeah. And we also have media Dhamma talk. This class, for me, I'm a teacher, teach online almost every day except Friday and Sunday. And if you go to Google YouTube or Facebook page, a lot of Cambodian people that are watching, I teach Dhamma in English as well. So this is very important for the young generation that they could understand, even they are not in my class. So they are so happy. So I could understand when I go somewhere and people, they said, oh, I study with you by this teaching. So my conclusion for the prosperity of the futures of the nation and sustainable development of any society, empowering youth is the only way to accomplish. So thank you very much. This is my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Venagala Yang Singhai from Cambodia. Peace and prosperity and inclusiveness is all important for humanity across the globe. And to my belief, it's the Dharma and Dhamma tradition. Convergence can lead forward to provide a way out. With these remarks, I invite Young T, Jennifer, for her deliberation, and she will be assisted by Astrid Norquet.
Namaste. Dear esteemed guests and friends, with Xu Yanting, we decide to organize like that the topics she will develop. I will start directly in English about his introduction, about the vision of a universe in China. And Xu Yanting will conclude with his speech in Chinese that we will have the translation directly on the screen, on the PTT. So the vision of a universe, the influence of Taoism, Buddhism, and harmony in Chinese cosmology. The outline we will develop include 5 points. Introduction, the view, the Tao, the concept and significance, harmony and order in China, the Buddhism arrival and the Sinicization in China. And we will have the speech of Xu Yanting in Chinese. So another view of Chinese cosmology. In the rich tapestry of Chinese cosmology, Taoism and Buddhism stand as 2 foundational philosophies. In the beginning was the Tao. The Tao profoundly influenced the understanding of existence and universe. Taoism, with its emphasis on the Tao as the fundamental principle of harmony and balance, offers insight into the interconnectedness of all things. Tao, the concept and significance. Fundamental to Chinese culture and essential in Taoism, the Tao is defined as way or path. It serves as the universal force embodying both presence and transcendence. The Tao constitutes the underlying principle of all existence, representing the natural order and the source of all things. It encapsulated the flow and rhythm of life, acting as both a guiding force and an ultimate reality, highlighting the importance of aligning oneself with this principle. So let's just underline the importance of Zhuangzi. Zhuangzi was a very influential Chinese philosopher and writer who lived during the Warring States. He has writing the book of Zhuangzi, consists of 33 chapters and is known for his philosophical insight, parables and allegorical stories. I just want to subline just one sentence of one very important book of him, the text, all things are born in him. The Tao fills the form of the body. So the Tao like the source of dynamism. Harmony and order in Chinese just is the paper, of course, that will be much more complex, but the Tao and the 5 elements, the non-action, quite long topics. But let's go on with the 3 chapters of this introduction about harmony and order in Chinese philosophy. Role of harmony in society. Harmony is fundamental principle that underpins social relation and governments in Chinese philosophy. It emphasizes the importance of balance and unity among individuality. The concept of Li, ritual propriety, is essential, and its guides interconnection, establish norms, and promote harmonious relationships. In a harmonious society, conflicts are minimized and collective well-being is prioritized over individual desire, leading to stability and peace. To conclude this interconnectedness, cultivate empathy and understanding, reinforcing the belief that one action impacts the greater whole, thus promoting an harmonious existence. So, the Buddhism arrival and Sinicizing in China. How did Buddhism become Chinese? The fusion with Tao and Confucianism, Buddhism both influenced and was shaped by Taoism and Confucianism, leading to a distinctive Chinese Buddhist culture. For instance, Chan Buddhism emphasizes inner awakening, which align closely with Taoist philosophy regarding nature. Buddhism became deeply Sinicized, leading to the development of various schools, including Tiantai, Huayan, Tan, and Jingtu. Despite challenges, Buddhism penetrates the elite scholarly class and maintained influence over time and until now, and maybe so much more now. To conclude this introduction of Chinese cosmology for this DHARMA DHAMMA conference, then we are greatly happy to attend. Madame Su Yanting, Dean of Zen Academy, will illustrate the relationship between human beings and the universe. So she will have a speech in Chinese, and you will find on this PTT the English version, please.
尊敬的各位同仁，大家好。今天我想和大家探讨一下人和宇宙的关系，以及在这个宏大的话题中，面对人工智能飞速发展的新变革，作为中华禅师院的院长， 我自己在修行道路上的一点体会。当我们仰望浩瀚的宇宙，那无尽的星辰、神秘的黑洞、广银的星系，无不让我们感受到自身的渺小。人类在宇宙的尺度上，仿佛只是沧海一粟。然而，正是这渺小的存在，却拥有着无尽的探索欲望和创造力。宇宙是我们的家园，它赋予了我们生命的舞台。从古老的文明开始，人类就对宇宙充满了好奇与敬畏。我们通过观察星空、制定历法、探索自然规律，不断拓展对宇宙的认知。宇宙的奥秘激发着我们的智慧，推动着我们科学的进步。而在人类探索宇宙的征程中，我们也在不断地探索自身。我们思考着自己存在的意义，追问着生命的起源和归宿。人类的思想、情感、创造力，使我们在宇宙中独一无二。我们用艺术表达对宇宙的赞美，用文学记录着对生命的感悟，用哲学思考宇宙的本质。如今，人工智能的出现，为我们打开了新的大门。人工智能是人类智慧的结晶，它以惊人的速度发展，在各个领域发挥着重要的作用。在探索宇宙的过程中，人工智能可以帮助我们处理海量的数据，分析天体现象，预测宇宙事件。它可以提高我们的观测精度，加速科学研究的进程。但同时，人工智能也让我们重新审视人和宇宙的关系。它让我们意识到，人类的创造力不仅仅局限于自身生物能力，我们可以通过创造智能工具，拓展我们认知和边界。然而，我们也不能忘记，人工智能是人类创造的产物，它不能代替人类的特有价值。人类拥有情感、道德、创造力和自我意识，这是人工智能无法企及的。我们人类在利用人工智能探索宇宙的同时，也需要更好地修行自身，保持对生命的敬畏和对人类价值的坚守。我们不能让人工智能为我们的主宰，而应该让它成为我们探索宇宙、实现自我价值的有力工具。修法之人一定持法做事，才能化解障碍，一直顺利。 在宇宙宏大的画卷中，人类和人工智能都是渺小的存在。我们共同构成了探索未知的力量。谢谢大家。Dhanyawad。
Thank you, Zen Academy from China and Jennifer, Team Jennifer. Friends, all 5 presentations, rather I'll say 6 presentations were fantastic. As a chair, if I wish to conclude, it will be really difficult for me because all the papers were of various dimensions. No doubt Swami Mitranandji very much focused on Indian and Buddhist cosmology and how it works. Professor Arvind Sarma ji made it very easy for us through his examples. And friend from Cambodia gave a narration of what he is doing in Cambodian society and 400 years history with Rasa and its Buddhist imprint and its comparison and similarities with our text and how Taoism have been doing a lot to the Chinese society. It's really difficult for me, but right now we have around 22 minutes. For 15 minutes we'll have question and answer. Anyone from audience can raise hand. Our volunteers will reach with mic. But my humble request is be precise while asking the question. Any one of you. And while asking question, please identify the panelist also, whom you're asking your question. Raise your hand. Raise your hand, please.
Hello. We have an announcement for the food. All the ministers from abroad and Vice Chancellor, Honorable Vice Chancellor, from the various universities, please, for the food, please meet in the VIP lounge at ground floor. And for the faculties and volunteers from Gujarat University, please be united at first floor for the food. And all the delegates from various countries and universities, please be united at second floor in the same building. Thank you all of you.
Hello.
One hand was raised for question. Please ask your question.
Mic is
Working, it's working. Please go ahead.
hello.
We can hear. No, use the mic. The mic is mine. It's working. Use it.
Hello. Okay. Sorry. My first question to Swami Mitrananda ji, that was this universe ever created or it existed? Because both things were reflected in your speech.
From the standpoint of awakened, there is only consciousness. From the standpoint of not yet awakened, the world is true. When we awaken, what we see. So, the camera person, please sit down. Sit down. No? Yeah. Or you move out. Thank you. From the awakened standpoint, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. The awakened sees only divine. The non-awakened, who is still seeking, sees the difference. On awakening, the world appears as divine. When not awakened, the divine appears as world. Is that clear? Thank you.
My second question to Professor Arvind Sharma. The question is, you also referred that karma is also referred as anadi. So how it is possible for karma to be anadi?
Hello? Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah, okay. I tried to explain that in my talk, that it is not possible to think of an individual without having some attributes. That is karma. And it is not possible to think of karma without a jiva being involved. That is a person. So logically, it is not possible to posit the priority of one or the other. So this point is made cosmologically by saying that both are without a beginning.
My question is to Swami Nityananji. Swamiji, in your lecture, you also focused on oneness, and we all are agree here that there is a fundamental oneness, and which manifests in different ways in different spiritual traditions. But in material world, there are differences resulting into sometime into violence, sometime into chaos. As you also said that where is adharma, there is a chaos. So my humble request is with you is that how to resolve these differences. Means sometimes these differences can create problem where we cannot come back. So whether there is any way possible in Indic spiritual tradition that okay, a sizable number start following that, those kind of things, and we can resolve these issues in coming future, not in present times. So something like that.
Is the world very peaceful? Was the world very peaceful on what you know as Satya Yuga? Was it? Hiranyaksha was there that time. Hiranyakashipu was there. Someone stole the Vedas. The knowledge was taken away. Someone stole the earth. Hiranyaksha took the earth from this orbit, went somewhere else to Garbhodharaka ocean. And after 1,000 years, the earth was brought back to this orbit. Imagine that very thought that earth could be taken away from this orbit. From infinity, earth looks a tiny dot. Like yesterday, someone was telling a pale blue dot. Okay. Now, in Treta Yuga, there was conflict. Dwapar, within the family, there was conflict. And now you're in Kali Yuga, there's conflict. Conflict existed at all times. Disturbances existed at all times. There could be the levels of values could be different, because in dharma, when you say, dharma is all accommodative, primitive to sublime. So someone at an early stage of human evolution is also included. And someone at the last stage of human evolution gets to divine. See, the growth is we are born human. By the time we die, we should be divine. That's evolution. Born human. When death comes, if we are divine, we are successful. We have evolved, we have reached the divinity. Okay. So, born human, die divine is the evolution. Someone could be at the threshold of evolution. He is also part of dharma. And someone could be at the very early stage, primitive. So the primitive and sublime are accommodated. That is only dharma, which can accommodate, which has the compassionate to take the primitive and also accommodate the highest sublime. That is all inclusive. So dharma is all inclusive. Human evolutions are at different levels, and there could be occasions where the conflicts are more. The lower tendencies could dominate, the selfishness could take over. That's why I said, when Krishna created this, when Krishna said, when this world was created, it was created with Sahayagna, where we are together selfless, where we work together. With a spirit of togetherness, this creation is made. That is dharma. That is dharma. The entire creation is made with a spirit of togetherness. If that is disturbed, the imbalance starts. So whenever the imbalance is at extreme level, somewhere the divinity has to manifest to set it back. That is where we say paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam. Wherever it could be cosmic imbalance, like an earth being taken away and it comes back. Or it could be human level dharmic imbalance. So whenever there is imbalance, the divine manifests. Okay, so there was no time that there was no conflict. In all you guys, there was conflict because there is primitive and there is sublime. So if you're asking, what is the way? The way is very, very clear. The sattvic, the selfless, the people who are seeking have to unite. There's no other way. If the people who are daivic unite, then you can fight. If the asuric unite, for a moment they'll have a top notch. They'll be on a better position to dominate. So if you're asking how we should do it, unity of sattvic people, unity of seekers, unity of dhamma, followers. If we unite, we become stronger. The daivic forces have to inaugurate. See, this is a very old war. It's not something which conflicts are happening now. It's an old war. It happened at all times. Even the Asuric forces have gurus. Shukracharya is the Asura guru. He's also very active even today. Has come at different levels. Okay. So Daivic gurus are also there. So this is a conflict. If the Daivic forces has to win, programs like this are very important where we unite more. Across the world, if these people unite and we create initiatives to bring these people together, then it will work. And the first and one standpoint of interfaith dialogue, the first standing, because see, people have tried, we are checking out on similarities. You know, let us take care of the shared values. We have tried this for 800 years, okay. The first and foremost point for unity is every religious followers, every religious order has to say all paths are valid. Only then that conflict will end. Your path is as valid as the path I follow. Your path is valid, my path is valid. That should be the meeting point. That should be the meeting point of interfaith dialogue. If we can come there, arrive on it, such conferences to come there to arrive saying, yes, yes, we agree. Your path, you follow that. Let it lead you where you have to. I'll follow what I want, let it lead. This will make the world and the people coexist together. Coexistence is absolutely important. Sanatan Dharma talks about coexistence. The primitive and the sublime are accommodated. Even within the family, there could be people of different types of seekers accommodated. So that means whatever way you choose leads you. So if we come up with that statement, that all paths are valid, let that be the starting point of dialogue. Then the conflict will end. Thank you.
Hello. Again, my question. Hello. My question again to Swami Mitrananji. Swamiji, you said at the outset that there is a unification of these two Dhamma tradition. Yes. Then you also refer to Sahayajna Prajasritva Yajna concept. How do you reconcile Yajna concept with Dhamma tradition?
When I quoted Bhagavad Gita, Sahayajna Prajasritva, the question is, you connected that with Dharma tradition. How do you connect Yajna with Dhamma tradition? I am not an authority on that. There are more qualified monks sitting here. They should tell how Dhamma brings people together. Yajna can be one ritual. The spirit of yajna in Hindu culture is doing ritual. In Buddhist, there should be so many ways of coming together. So what is in Dhamma, the spirit of togetherness is to be seen as yajna. So somebody from the dharmic, the Dhamma tradition should answer that question, which would be more authoritative. Thank you. Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah, please go ahead. Give him the mic, please. Hello. Wait, sir.
The Buddha says that I also perform yajna, and this is Shila yajna, Samadhi yajna, or Prajna yajna. That takes one from impurity to purest form of purest stage.
That's called in Gita Jnana Yajna, Swadhyaya Jnana Yajna. Krishna says that. Where in a yajna, obviously similar, very nicely said, thank you. The similarity is often in Buddhist and Hinduism. If you say Jnana Yajna, there is similarity. Jnana Yajna is what we are trying to do now. In the fire of knowledge, ignorance is offered as ahuti. Ignorance gets burned in the newly received knowledge. When the ignorance burns, we slowly get enlightened. Yeah. There is naturally, that way Jnana Yajna is there. Anywhere knowledge is shared is Jnana Yajna.
Okay.
It should be quite close to your answer. Yeah.
I have a question.
To me?
Yes, to you. So you're talking about coming in unison, that Dhamma and Dharma and people who are Devik should be coming together. That is very true. But I just want to understand the matrix of why is it that people who are Asuric are more strong, they come together, and on the other side, vice versa, the people having Devik tendencies are very loose and they are not that united.
No. No, I don't agree that. It is always Daivik which won the final war in every yuga. Okay. Hiranyakashipu did what he has to do for a while. Vishnu took over in Satya Yuga. Ram did that in Treta. Krishna did that in Dwapar. It is always the Daivik which was winning. Daivik appears to be weak, not united. So today we do talk about, because today in a world suddenly we are talking about democracy and numbers matter. So togetherness of Daivic forces certainly matter. Yeah, thank you. Right.
I'd just like to ask Professor Sharma, Arvind Sharma. Sir, I'm here. Right. You made a very interesting connection between cosmology and reconciliation, conflict resolution, and I believe at the heart of conflict resolution there is the recognition that we are not sufficient. No tradition is sufficient in constructing the entire picture of reality all by itself. And therefore we recognize that Swamiji said that all paths are valid, but behind that recognition there has to be the experience of contingency, that we are not full in constructing the entire picture of reality all by ourselves, and no tradition, no religion, no culture is self-sufficient to face, let alone solve any of our human problems single-handedly. Do you think this experience of contingency on the part of all the cultures and all the traditions is the way forward for a new cosmology that we can envisage?
I think if we accept that any point of view has to be limited, any position has to be a position. It cannot be the position. Then, as Swamiji explained, Swami Mitrananda explained, then we have a basis on which we can coexist in peace. And so I think all of us support that position which you are outlining. Thank you.
I don't agree. You said all dharma, all religions are incomplete to handle human issues? No. There is sufficient, let me explain. There's sufficient information to deal with any kind of human issues in the scriptures. In fact, books like Bhagavad Gita has said it very clearly, knowing which there is nothing else to be known. That's a final statement one can ever make. Gaining which there is nothing else to be gained. And this is dharma we are talking about, which accommodates primitive and sublime. And we have stood the test of time, handling human problems. If religion has not played that role, sorting out these issues, the world would have ended long ago. So no matter, it's not new challenge we have. It is just that the ignorance is little more today than in the past. The books are sufficient, any book is sufficient to deal with the human ignorance and the issues created. Are people as powerful as what some of the Asuric forces were at the past? So I don't think we can make a conclusion that the religion is not competent to handle human issues today. Not one single religion, certainly not. Dharma is all accommodative. Sanatana Dharma has handled it clearly from the beginning till now. And it has that ability and the depth to coexist. The primitive and the sublime both coexisted. So there is from unicellular to divine, the journey at every level, the message has been given. It's been addressed. So I accept everything what you said. When you said the religion is not competent for human problems, do we need new cosmology? Sorry, we don't need. We have to go into what is there already to understand. Thank you.
Namaste, Swamiji. Another question.
This one is the last question.
Sorry, Swamiji, we have been troubling you a lot, Swami Mitranandji. This is for you, another question. You spoke about downloading the knowledge. That was very new for me, at least. When you spoke about the coexistence and at the same time you talked about the humans are coming from God themselves. So, Purnamada, Purnamidam concept. So, Swamiji, if that's the case, and why there is so much adharma and why there is so much chaos?
No, I did not say only humans are coming from
No,
divine.
we,
all
we
creatures,
means
all,
the
whatever
universe.
is existing. Yeah.
Yeah. So you said that when there is adharma, there is chaos, and when there is dharma, there is cosmos. So if it is all coming from Brahman, what might be the basic reason?
There was an age called Satya Yuga,
Ji.
where predominantly Satya pervaded more. Predominantly, okay? Their righteousness dominated. 90% of what you're talking about would be righteous world. Here and there, the forces came. In Treta, it changed a bit. And then in Dwapar, it became even a family feud. And imagine a war like Kurukshetra, 3.5 million people gathered to fight. And at that time, India's population would have been 10 million. 5 million should be men. 5 million women, 5 million men, 3.5 million men died in that war. 8 people survived. Even if it is exaggerated, 3 million must have died. But still you came back. You understand? So, but when it happened, Dwapar also it was bad, and Kali Yuga. So whenever you see why this is there, this conflict was always there. Because we like conflict. The humans like conflict. As you evolve from primitive to higher levels, you like these things at different stages. How many of you will go and watch a movie where there's one hero, he falls in love with a girl, and both the parents say, oh, very good, very nice, that's lovely, get married, and they lived happily. You don't watch a movie like that. What kind of a movie you watch? Or what kind of a movie hits? There's one guy and there's a girl, both are in love, but a third person steps in. Create a conflict. Vasana is that. The tendency when we evolve from lower, the conflict tendencies come along. That's why it happens. But as you still keep evolving, the divine tendencies take over. So it's an evolution from lower to the higher. The lower tendencies would be there, the violence, conflict, all that would be there. The jiva goes through many births and arrives upon something like this. Why conflict? It's deep down inside, that's why it's coming out. Whatever you see in the world was exactly what is inside. This conference which is happening today was once a thought. That thought was sustained. It has become action. If there is conflict in the world, it was also a thought. Entertained, sustained. Therefore it manifests. And God, the Brahman, is least bothered about this. Pure consciousness is completely indifferent to what happens here. The ocean is not bothered which wave is fighting which wave. The ocean knows it's only water. The higher wave or the smaller wave or the bubble is nothing but ocean. If a bubble dies, nothing happens to the ocean. If a wave dies, nothing happens to the ocean. Is ocean bothered about conflicts? Certainly not. Think. Thank you very much. We should stop here now.
Lots of questions are coming to Swamiji. I'll request audience not to ask much questions to Swamiji. Other panelists are also there. Yeah, please. A smaller question.
I have a small, it's a query. It's not a question to Professor Singhai. It's just a query. I'm not, asking. First of all, I would like to thank each one of you for a wonderful session. I have a query that you said that you are working on the Buddhism for an education, especially on the young children in Cambodia. See, every nation has their own system of education, 10 plus 2, 10 plus 3, plus 4. So in Cambodia, the Buddhism is included, since from the beginning, or just after 10th or after 12th, or you have a separate school or separate class and give a degree separate on Buddhism. Just a query.
In Cambodia, there are two systems of education. First is a state system of education, and second, that is a monastic education that provide at the monastery. So even all the children, there is choice some they become a monk and they study from the primary, secondary, and up to the university. And some they don't want to go to monastery and study at a state school. But at the state school, we also have the Dharma lesson as well, from the very primary school as well, but very basic teachings, and also at the university. Yeah, so some Dharma Buddha's teachings integrate in all those the course outline of system education. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Now, a concluding remark. Today's word is techno-scientific word, where this mankind have been facing new challenges. In this new world of challenges, we are discussing on cosmology, we are discussing on Dharma and Dhamma tradition, and way out for humanity. Why? Why India Foundation and Gujarat University took an effort to create such an atmosphere and a stage to deliberate on it? When our friend from China was presenting her paper, ritualism, a terminology struck to my mind. And today, in this techno world, everyone is normally is against to ritual practices, and people say that this one is creating the problem. Answer lies with Dr. B.R. Ambedkar's deliberation in Sri Lanka on ritualism in Bodhi Society lectures in 1951 and 53. And he very categorically quotes, every belief systems have ritual practices, and these ritual practices are scientific in nature and connects the practitioner to the Supreme. Here I would emphasize Dr. Ambedkar was very much in favor of religious practices and religion. He was not at all opposed to anything. He was opposed to many evils practiced in our society. Friends, when I am referring this ritualism, I am taking leave from Swamiji's lecture of Yajna. When we give ahutis of our samidha to the Yajna, it makes purest an atmosphere of that time to that certain place, but all fume goes upwards. And the whole atmosphere becomes pious. When as an individual in our own prayer spaces, when we recite Om or something, what our belief system advocates, we do connect with that. When we start searching ourselves, this self, which relates us, yat pinde tat brahmande, yat brahmande tat pinde. I am part and parcel of that Supreme. That Supreme is Paramatma for me. And my Atma, my soul, which is immortal in nature. After this body that goes and connects with that Atma, that again connects this human to that cosmology. When we look at this aspect in normal, in layman perspective, it's a word of science. But when you go into deep and dwell upon with our own literatures, gestures, then you will find that how it has been contributing to our own life. As an individual, start searching yourself, discovering yourself. And while discovering yourself, you will realize that something you are getting from upwards. And that applies to every human being. Friends, start practicing this. Start searching yourself, questioning yourself, and on a certain stage of life, you will start connecting with that supreme power. And that supreme power will provide a way out for you and humanity attached with. Many things can be said on this wonderful topic and wonderful initiative of India Foundation and Gujarat University, but every good thing comes to an end. And I don't want to be a bridge between your lunch. And so that, thank you so much, and thank you panelists to be being wonderful panelists. Thank you.
Just a small clarification. On second floor, we all will have lunch together from 1 to 2, and at 2 p.m. At 2 p.m. sharp, we'll all will be here again for the second plenary session. So we'll all will have lunch on the second floor from 1 to 2, and 2 o'clock, the next plenary session will start in the very same room. Thank you.